Ask anyone who grew up in Hawaii and they'll tell you that they remember the Manapua truck that was parked outside of their school. The truck sold candy and soft drinks, but they were mostly known for their huge Hawaii char siu baos, pork hash, and fried noodles. Hi! Welcome back to another one of my taste test videos. This is part 3 in my series of West Side Eats. I decided to do something a little bit different for this episode. What I'm doing is I'm doing a little nostalgia trip for me. When I was in the 6th grade, we used to have what was called a Manapua man. And he would come by all the schools and he would open up his little van and they would have like Manapua, which if you don't know is like a big char siu bao that we have here in Hawaii. And he would sell those and I could get a huge Manapua and like a bag of fried noodles for like 75 cents. I remember that I would save my lunch money and then run out to the field after school just to see the Manapua man so I could get Manapua and fried noodles. But I didn't realize that the Manapua man is all over. I just realized that I have one in my own neighborhood. So what I did was I went down there just to see what they had available. They had some things that I didn't have when I was young, but sadly, they didn't have any Manapua, so I can't try any Manapua. But they did have several things that I'm going to be trying today. This is a Lumpia, and what a Lumpia is basically a Filipino egg roll. It's crispy on the outside, it's deep fried, and it has vegetables and pork inside, so I'm going to try that. I also got this, which is called a pork hash. Now pork hash is like, it has this noodle covering and it has like meat inside and it's steamed. So this is one thing that I had when I was young at the Manapua truck. But I also have this, which we didn't have back then. But this is the same as this. It's a pork hash, but it's deep fried. So I'm gonna try that too, because that should be really good. And of course, you can't go to the Manapua truck without getting fried noodles. So I got a large fried noodle. So this whole thing right here, all of this, was just $5.75, which to me is amazing, and it's still very reasonable. So one of the very first things that I wanted to try was the Lumpia, because we never had this in our truck growing up. And it looks really good. It's huge, as you can see. I mean, this is not a small Lumpia by any means. But anyway, like I said, this is deep fried. It's like a Filipino egg roll. So we'll see what's inside. So I don't know if you can see in there. This is a lot of meat and filling. There's even like vegetable in there, which is really, really good. But I really like this because this reminds me of like the old-fashioned lumpia that we used to have. Very, very tasty. The inside is very, very tasty. Alright, so the next thing that I wanted to try was this pork hash. Now, pork hash is very, very popular in Hawaii. It's sold as like a side dish to the Manapua, which is the big char siu bao that I was telling you about earlier. It's unfortunate that I couldn't try a Manapua from the truck, but this is the next best thing. We used to have these in our Manapua truck growing up. Alright, so what this is kind of like a dumpling. And it has like a noodle coating, and it has like on the inside it has like pork and like I believe shrimp and things like that. It's steamed, but as you notice, it's a little bit different from the regular dumpling that you get with your dim sum. The outside is a little bit thicker, as you can see, but this is the Hawaii version and it's called pork hash. So I'm gonna try this one. I didn't get any of the inside yet. Oh, there we go. Oh my god. This takes me back. The inside is usually very sweet. This one is really sweet and it's a little bit savory. Oh my god, it's so good. There's something really about a pork hash that you get from the Manapua man that you just cannot get anywhere else. I've eaten pork hash like you know, at fancy Chinese restaurants and stuff like that. I've eaten them at like really popular local places, but somehow this pork hash really brings me back to my childhood. It's really good. And for the price, I mean, you can't beat it. Anyway, they didn't have this when I was growing up either. So this is the same thing as this pork hash right here, except that it's deep fried. So we didn't have that back when I was in elementary school. But anyway, let me try it. Oh, it's really crunchy. Mmm. Mmm. In some ways, I like the regular steamed one better than this. Mmm. It still has the really good inside flavor. That little bit sweet, very savory. Yeah, I like it. I like that it's crunchy, but I think that I like the original steamed pork hash a little bit more. And so the very last thing that I wanted to try was the fried noodles. Now, every Manapua truck is famous for their fried noodles. Ours used to come in a little plastic bag, and I believe it was like 25 cents. It was ridiculously inexpensive. But anyway, I wanted to try it because you don't go to the Manapua truck without getting fried noodles. That is one of their specialties. Anyway, let's see. Mmm. This doesn't taste like the fried noodles that I remember. The fried noodles that I remember were a little bit saltier. It had a little bit more of a soy flavor. These are a little bit, they taste a little sweeter. They do have things on them like, they have, you know, little char siu, little pieces of char siu. They have like little green onions, things like that. I mean, this is still good, but this is just not what I remember. So far, what I remember the most was the pork hash, but this is good. It's just not the same noodles that I remember. The noodles that I remember were a little bit greasier. Sorry to say, I mean, they're not that healthy. This is not that healthy, but they're a little bit greasier, a little bit saltier, and these are a little bit drier, a little bit sweeter in flavor. Not as much flavor. It's a little bit more on the subtle side when you, in terms of flavor. So I mean, these really don't taste like the ones that I grew up. I mean, not that it's bad, because I think these taste pretty good. And it is really good that they're not as oily as the ones that I remember. Because the ones that I remember, the oil used to collect at the bottom of the plastic bag. I mean, it was delicious, but it probably was not very good for me. Alright, so this is a really nice little trip of nostalgia for me. I had no idea that there were still Manapua trucks on the island. And, you know, getting to taste it was really interesting for me because not everything tasted like I remembered it from back when I was in elementary school. But I have to say though that everything that the Manapua truck has is always very tasty. There's a lot of it, and the price, you can't beat the price. I mean, $5.75 for all of this. I will probably still be eating this tomorrow. I mean, it's a lot of food. But anyway, if you're in the Eva Beach area, our Manapua man truck is all the way down Fort Weaver Road. You make a left at Campbell High School, and they're just parked on the side. So you just pull up to them, they're on the side of the street, and you order your stuff and you leave. I mean, I had no idea that they were there, but I'm so glad that I found them. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me.